What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. We are in Woodstock, Illinois. This is day 2 of PSI-clocross, which is a race in Woodstock, Illinois. Pretty big field here. I didn't get a front row call-up. I think that they did the call-ups based on points in the Chicago Cross Cup Series rather than based on your ranking. So I had a pretty terrible start. As you can see, I am like way at the back. I'm going to put a little Riders Past message down there for you guys just so that we can keep track here. But yeah, not a great start. I am definitely, you know, making it a little bit more difficult on myself with a slow start like the one that I had. If you were paying attention, you know, I feel like I kind of got boxed in there, but I also didn't do a great job of like choosing the wheel of someone who you have confidence is going to have a good start themselves. Let's take another really close look at that start here, and we'll slow it down for you. We'll go back in time. Pretty amazing audio on the slow motion here, so yeah, I did get a great clip in, but if you look at this rider straight in front of me, he misses his pedal. I got a guy to my right, I got a guy to my left. I have nowhere to go, really. I am doing like 500 watts. So once again, not the greatest start to my day here in Woodstock, but life goes on. So here we're back in the action, sitting behind these bonkers riders, getting the count up to 5, getting the count up to 6, having a little trouble getting past this guy on these corners. He's got a foot out up there. Interesting conditions on this day, as you can probably hear. It is super windy, and we've got a bunch of clouds. I was really having second thoughts about the tires that I ran, but I got lucky in that it stayed dry. If you stick around until the end of the video, you will see how fast this weather was changing. Looking at the footage near the end of this race, you would never have guessed that it was as cloudy and overcast as it is right now. Conditions, got a little bit of mud, a little bit of like greasy stuff, nothing too crazy though. It's been windy, and often when you have a super windy day, even if it is a little wet, that helps things kind of like tack up. It's not quite like peanut butter consistency, but yeah, that's one of the interesting things maybe about racing cyclocross, is that you turn into like a soil expert, someone who's studying the dirt. But yeah, we're still here on lap 1. You know, this is like 3 minutes or so into this race. We're in this wooded section on the back end of the course, which is pretty cool. Got a little bit of a elevation change here, but not a ton of places to move up. So a lot of the sections on this course, you'll see there's like one good line, and that's about it. Not always the case, but yeah, you can see I'm kind of struggling still to get past these dudes. You can see up in the distance maybe, yeah, there is some of the riders from the very front of the race. So my advice to other riders who find themselves in a position like this is just not panic. You know, it's super easy to freak out thinking that you had a terrible start like I did, and that you need to make up all of that ground right away. But as you'll see, this race is shorter than the like Wisconsin cyclocross series races and a lot of the cross races that go on around the country, and that it's like 45 minutes long instead of 60 minutes. Maybe that makes it even harder to not feel panicked when you have a slow start like I had. Getting up to number 9. If you didn't notice, there was a Roscoe Gagliardo, I think is how you say his last name, going into the pits there. He had a flat tire after the total opposite type of start that I had. He came out of the pit and kind of shouldered that guy next to me, but it ended up being that I got past both of them. Lucky me. But Roscoe Let's Go Roscoe could have been maybe the alternate title of this video. If you pay attention to the audio of the race itself, you will hear all kinds of spectators rooting for Roscoe. This may have actually been his home field kind of home field advantage type of race. This might be in his own backyard, I'm not exactly sure, but he raced here the day before, won that race. Like I said, he had a great start on this day, but he got a flat in the first lap in that wooded section. So he is on my wheel, trying to make his way through this field like I am. Big barriers on this course. Getting around our number 10 rider there. Able to stay on the bike with our new trick. If you've been watching these videos, you know this is one of the new things that I've been perfecting in my cyclocross skills this season, is just being able to like hop the barriers. Chicago barriers are a little bit taller than Wisconsin barriers, not gonna lie. A little bit harder and more complicated, but once you get over like the fear of failure, it is totally possible. And it's a huge advantage, I would say, on this course and on courses in general, to be able to hop over those things. So yeah, what else do I need to tell you? We are coming in on the end of this very first lap. We are still working our way through the field. No idea where we are sitting in terms of like placing here. Almost getting around this dude. He's kind of battling for that position. He's gonna coast all the way, gonna not really let us get around him there. That's bike racing for you folks. Yeah, I didn't really like get frustrated or upset at any of these guys. He actually, if you notice there, goes off to the left. That was a nice move. Lets us riders sort of nipping at his heels get past him. And to me, that's kind of what I would do in that situation. You know, like I feel like if you are getting dropped from the rider in front of you and the dudes behind you are trying to get around you to close that gap, like it is the right thing to do to let that rider pass. Not that that's like surrendering your position or anything in my view. That's just like letting faster riders do their thing, and not just, you know, defending a position that you're essentially losing. This rider, I don't know what his name is. I think I've seen him before. He's a junior rider, I think. He's got the skills. He's got kind of an interesting way of taking corners aggressively, I would say. This section that we're on right now, big headwind. Big headwind section, and I'm going to spend basically the next entire lap here, maybe the next 2 laps with my nose in the wind. You can see the watts that we're doing. You can see my heart rate down there in the bottom left. Still not panicking, still trying to stay calm, ride smooth, and make up as much ground as I can, given the situation that I put myself in here. But we will let this play for a little while. I'll shut up, you guys can listen in, and then we'll pick things up here in just a moment. Definitely can hear that wind just howling in the background. We jumped ahead a whole lap, so we are about to catch this another junior rider. This dude had his legs looking very orange with the spicy embrocation cream prior to the race getting started. He's still got it on there. This is rider number 13 we are passing. Yeah, total headwind. Like I said, I have been just pulling this train of myself and Roscoe, trying to get us back to the main lead group, which are now in sight, but you can see it's just 2 riders, and there is a 3rd rider off the front of those 2 chasers that we are trying to close down to. So yeah, kind of an interesting tactic, I guess, from Roscoe in this situation. Definitely is risking losing by letting me do all of the work here, but it's a smart move. Can't knock him for it. I'm racing maybe a less tactical race and just trying to keep things smooth, you know, get the most out of my legs that I can on each lap, take these corners as well as I can. But these guys aren't that far ahead of us, and real time on this section of the course, you know, we're in like our third lap, so we're probably like 15 minutes in maybe to a 45-minute race. Maybe a little bit less than that, maybe like 10 to 15 minutes in, and you'll see guys that go out and cross races basically and just absolutely blow up. And there are certain advantages to that approach, I suppose, which is that you don't have to work your way through a whole field of riders, especially in big fields like this one. That can be a real challenge, you know, as you saw. But taking a more like conservative approach lets you have the legs when you really most need it in the end, and it prevents you from just blowing up big time. So we're about to catch these two riders. Off to the right there is the leader. So we got Ross Thunberg and the young gun Luke Johnson, another Wisconsin rider, a 15-year-old rider from Wisconsin, making the trip out to Woodstock, taking part in the Chicago Cross Series just like me. And yeah, so this section that we're on right here, coming back into, let's say, like the main part of the course, out of the woods, you got a tailwind and it's pretty wide. So this was like a good place to pass riders if you wanted to get around them. You see I'm about to do that here. Getting the riders passed up to 15. So now we got a Michael Lambert, Roscoe Gagliardo, Luke Johnson, and Ross Thunberg train chasing down rider in the front. And he's racing for Pony Shop. I can't believe I'm spacing on his name. What is the name of that rider? Rory. What is Rory's last name? I'm gonna figure this out. Rory's last name is what? Rory Jack, is that you? A round of applause for Circles. Here's my guy, Rory Jack. Super experienced, skilled cross rider. Never really know what type of fitness Rory's going to bring to the races. He's been absolutely stealth killer in the past in races that I've had against him. He has also been, you know, like not at his best in recent races, so didn't really know what to expect out of a guy like Rory on a day like today, but clearly, as you can see, I'm happy to do my best to chase this dude back, just spending a ton of time on the front here. Not a real disadvantage, I wouldn't say, in these sections. If anything, there is an advantage to being on the front in cross races when you're not eating a bunch of wind like this, and that, like, if you make a mistake, you don't really have to suffer for it, and that, you know, you slow everyone else down behind you, basically. So yeah, I think it is at the end of this lap that I give the flick of the elbow to some of the riders behind me, hoping that they will also be willing to contribute to the chase. Let's see if I'm right about this. We're kind of coming up this little off-camber hill section that's going to bring us back to that start-finish, kind of big right-hand sweeper on this course. Super cool course, by the way. Pretty technical, a lot of different skill sets at play. I mentioned they've got the big barrier. I like that wooded section in the back. And yeah, Chicago races, people turn up at these events. Tons of spectators, and definitely bigger fields than the ones that I'm used to racing in the Wisconsin series. But yeah, in my experience, a lot of times when the Wisconsin guys come down and race against these Chicago riders, the Wisconsin dudes are strong. So got the flick. Roscoe's taking the front. We got Luke Johnson in the middle of this sandwich here, and if you pay close attention, I think Roscoe makes a mistake, kind of dabs, has to unclip. Luke takes the inside. This is not exactly good teamwork for us to make the catch. I'm happy that Luke has taken that initiative there, but here we are in this headwind section. I'm doing like 100 watts. We need to do more than this if we have ambitions of catching Rory Jack. So this tempo, this pace is not going to last very long. I'm not happy with this pace, and as you'll see, I'm gonna just jump right back onto the front and take up the chase again myself. These cowards. But look at this, we've got the sun coming out. The clouds are going away. Blue skies ahead. So I'm gonna jump us ahead again. We're gonna go all the way to the last lap. Let's see what happens in this last lap. Okay, so here we are on that same sort of off-camber uphill. I'm gonna let Roscoe, if you heard me there, you got it. I'm gonna let him take the inside here. And I think this is maybe literally the first time Roscoe's contributing to the chase, but he's not going to help. He's going to attack. So we're doing 600 watts over that hill. He's doing some bunny hops. He knows this course. I may have lied. This might not be the last lap. Is this the last lap? Is this 2 laps to go? I think this might be 2 laps to go. Nope. There's the bell. Last lap, folks. Buckle up for some action here. Will I be able to even chase Roscoe back down? We'll see. He just attacked majorly. We got these little cornery sections about to head straight into a block headwind. You may have noticed that the skies have slightly changed. Clouds have gone away. We got some blue skies coming out. Looks like a different course, but the wind has definitely remained. Getting up to almost 180 beats per minute here. Chasing Dom Roscoe, the hometown hero. And there we are back. Big advantage of being on the wheel here, of course, catching the draft. And we have, you guys wouldn't have noticed this, but we have basically whittled the lead of Rory Jack down to like 6 seconds. So he is tantalizingly close to us. He is just up the road. We can see him. There he is. I'm hitting the tape. Roscoe's unclipping. Things are getting a little frantic here in the last lap of action. This next section that we're entering into with the elevation change, if I were to have done anything different here, I think I would have worked really hard to get around Roscoe. He's kind of letting up. He's soft pedaling. I think that we could have caught Rory if I would have just gone bananas on this section. Instead, I played it a little safe. I am at 180 beats per minute, let's be real. Roscoe's standing up. We're chasing now in earnest. But this is my section of the course. If I had an advantage at any place on this course, it is here. It is on the climbs. And so I would have been happy to take up the chase myself. But Roscoe's doing a pretty good job here. He is putting down the watts, but again, I'm like staying seated, catching up, doing 150 watts, back up on the power after that corner. Another little thing in cyclocross is you gotta try and find places where you can take little micro rests. You know, it doesn't make sense to stay going full gas like straight into a corner where you're going to slam on your brakes. You'll notice riders at the top level of the sport doing that kind of stuff as well. Super advantageous. I think that guy has been giving us a gap. I think he just said 6 seconds, 5 or 6 seconds. It may not even have been that much. So if we look up the road, we got one straggler from another field. There's Rory off to the right. So timestamp is at like 13:14. You know, that's like 5 seconds, so not far off. As previously mentioned, this part of the course right here that we're coming up on is a great place to pass. You've got a tailwind. It is wide enough to do so. I am looking for a moment to get around Roscoe here because I want to catch Rory and I want to win the race. So here we go. Dead to rights. They're telling him to basically block me. That's what his fan base over there in the pit are saying. Lean over. Don't let him come around you. lose the race, Roscoe, is what they're suggesting. Bad advice. Don't take bad advice from old guys in the pit, okay? If you're listening out there, if you're subscribed to the channel, sometimes you gotta do your own thing. So I'm on the front, Roscoe nipping at my heels. We are coming into these final few sections. Rory Jack, again, tantalizingly close to us. What you're about to see, I gotta slow this part down. We're gonna have to do some analysis here. This is a pivotal, critical moment in the race, and it is about to start. We're about to come up to this barrier, and I want to show you something that Roscoe does really well here. So trying to get as much out of these corners as I can, staying on the gas, and we've got Roscoe on the right, making the pass over the barrier. Excellent move there. Watch what he does next. This is bike racing, folks. I'm about to make the pass. He took that corner a little too wide. I'm about to get around this Roscoe dude, and what does he do? Shuts it down. I said something to him in the race at that moment. I think I said, like, come on, man. You know how it goes. Maybe frustrating in the moment, but that's exactly what Roscoe should have done. He came up to me after the race and kind of tried to apologize about that, but I told him that's exactly what you should have done. That is bike racing, and that was the right move. That essentially won him second place instead of third, which is how I end up. We do not end up catching Rory Jack, the real hero of the day, eating the wind solo off the front. And yeah, I don't really, you know, I'm doing as much as I can here, but there are speed limits on this course. Roscoe's full out. I've got a little bit of a gap to him. And by the time that we get up to the top of this hill, there's really no opportunity to make any passes. So I am coming to terms at this point in the race with a third place finish. Still happy with the result. You know, had my work cut out for me on a race like this one where I had to start like the one that I did. But major kudos to everyone who came out and raced on a very windy but beautiful fall day in Woodstock, Illinois. Also, major shout out to the Beard and Boca for taking photos, which you're about to see. And thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Give me a follow over on Instagram if you want to stay up to date on all things race related. And we will see you on the next one.